The title of the exhibition is The Sequence of Things. And sequencing represents a narrative. A narrative is a story. Stories are in books. And this was a library. I'm very much interested in books. This is Art and Society, that's Man and the Brain, and this wall is all about witchcraft. These are 3 books put up on the wall. I'm very much interested in the difference between mapping the world and telling a story about the world. They're very different. A map doesn't have a beginning, middle, and end. It is spatial. And a story does. Narrative generally have it. So I'm interested in the relationship between the sequence of points in a map, which are infinite, and then the sequence of, say, sentences in a story or pictures in a story, which are more finite, although one can break up picture upon picture upon picture and thus get infinite that way, you know. The key for my work has to do with the 5 worlds that I represent in my work. That is really core, and the cosmology that I represent in my work in general. And the 5 glass panels, each of those glass panels is a world, and I can describe this to you, what those 5 worlds are. Do you have some keys? Do you have keys? Does either of you have keys? Okay, so keys. The green world, the elements. This is the world of the material. So pretend that there's an atomic frying pan about maybe 20 feet by 20 feet. It's super, super, super hot. Super, super hot. And I'm over there and I throw these keys over the frying pan. And the heat emanating from the frying pan is so strong that as they're in the air before they go into the ground, they cease to be functioning. They look like keys, but they're no longer keys because they are warped by the heat. It was a key, but it's no longer a key. There's the soft metal and the hard metal becomes a puddle of stuff. This is material without meaning. This is at one end of my work, and that's the green chapter. Whenever you see green in my work, that is materiality. The next is the world unframed, which is blue, the blue banner, the blue glass, and the blue on my charts. And that is these keys 10 minutes ago. They were in your pocket. That reality, that's the real world. That is walking down the street, that is just living my life. That is the blue world, that's the real world. Then the next is the world framed. That's yellow. That's when you have a frame around something. So you take these keys out of the pocket, so suddenly you are noticing things about them. So what's happening in the world framed is that it is shifting out of the world into a sign or a language. Or I could say these are Elvis Presley's keys. These are the keys that he used to close up Graceland every night. And they're going to be put at auction. They're expected to make $150,000. So they went at auction, Graceland bought them, and they're now on display. So these keys, they don't work anymore, but they're worth $150,000, so that's weird. So why are they so valuable? Well, they've become something else through their association with him and the fact that even, all the locks have been changed, so they don't work. So now there's posters, there's an ad campaign, there's an exhibition. This is all in the black and white world, which is language. So these keys, they're no longer real. They are symbolic. They're more images of the keys. So they've entered this other world, the sign symbol world. And that's the black and white. That's whenever you see black and white, that's black and white, so that's sign symbol. And also in my charts, black and white is this a sign symbol. The next is the red. That's the subjective. That is where the cosmology is. Now, the reason I don't have keys on my person now, because I hate keys. I really hate them. So when I travel, I put them in my suitcase. They're home. My keys are in my suitcase. When I go back to Berlin, then I'll unpack them and I'll have to have them on my person. The fact that I hate keys has nothing to do with keys in themselves. It's in my head. It's in my soul. And that is meaning without material. It's not the object. It's the relationship to the object as the object. So that's really one end. And then the other is the object without meaning. Both of these ideas are impossible They cannot exist because anything we think has some physical manifestation. These are the 5 worlds, and they exist in my work. All my work, everything I do has that in it. And then people say, you know, gosh, how is anyone supposed to understand that this is this and this is that? You know, there's God up there and those are demons and angels, and I don't see any of it. I mean, the first world, second world, third world, fourth world, fifth world. Golly, how am I supposed to understand any of this stuff? And it's complicated, but it's not. It's so basic. You have a lot of paper here, but it's so basic what I'm doing. So basic. But what I'm saying is that empathy, and we understand a lot more than we think. I think we live in an incredibly literal time. Poetry is not so cool, not anymore. I think we live in a time where people they want to know what it means. I would much prefer you come in and you get what you can and leave. I can't tell you what it means. I don't even know necessarily. Because poetry, what poet would tell you? You know, how can any great poet's going to say, in the end, I don't know.